Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me, Simran Anand. Welcome to the fourth part of the series on Mern stack. So today I'm going to be explaining you and demonstrating it practically. So in our previous videos in which I was explaining you all the concepts of Mern, which is MongoDB, Express.js, React.js, and Node.js, I have covered the key concepts which are required for you to have a proper understanding of building your web application. So today I'm here to explain you and also show you the coding, how we can organize different files. That is, we have two ends. As I've told you, we have front end and the back end. So for the front end, I have created a folder as client and for the back end as server. So I'm going to be explaining you how you can install firstly React.js, Node.js into your system. Then I would also be showing you how you could actually implement that code by installing different libraries with different features and why those libraries are important, which libraries to exactly use, how do you do the routing, call components, and so on. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Basically, as we have two, we have two ends, the client and the server end. So basically, I have a demo application over here, which I have already created. It's basically a to-do list kind of thing, or basically I'm demonstrating a CRUD project. So wherever the best way to start with Mern Stack is to start with something that involves CRUD, which is CRUD. So what is CRUD? As I've explained you, it is create, read, update, and delete. By implementing the code for these operations successfully, these four operations, which are CRUD operations, you will be actually be able to understand, gain a proper, solid understanding of how the different frameworks are used for Mern Stack. So basically, I'm going to do the same thing. So this is basically, you can think it of as a CRUD application for a book system where you can add or create any new book. You can add a new book, append the details of the new book. So when I say create, it means to add a new book. Or when I say update, you can update or edit the details of an existing book. So a book can have something like, if you want to just maintain a collection of your read books already, or say if you're watching movies, so a collection of your watched movies. So what would you do is your title should be important, the author of the book or the movie should be important, then the description is important, and your rating is important. So if you want to keep a stack or a collection of all your books in such a way, you can implement this CRUD application to understand. So I've done the same thing. This is a book system basically, which will be doing that CRUD operations. So where you have two folders here. So the basically, if you want me to start it from scratch to show you, I can write the code, the commands over here. But since we already have a folder, I'm not going to write the commands. So basically, in VS Code, to create any folder, you can just write mkdir, which is going to make a directory or make a folder. So this is for Windows, and if you're using Mac, then you have something called as a touch command there. So you can create files. So over here we have right now the client side where we are going to implement our React.js, and we have the server side where we're going to implement our Node.js and the Express.js, and also link the Node.js and the Express.js, which is the backend, to the MongoDB database. So we have two panels over here. You can just click over here to get the command prompt over here, right over here, and then you can also there are options like clear terminal and so on. So on clicking another terminal, you get another command prompt. So if you want to delete this command prompt, you just go to the delete. So right now I have two command prompts, right? I have to just one over here and over here. So side by side, basically this is for the front end, which is the client, and this is for the server side, which is the back end, where I'm going to write the node code. This is for the React, this is for the node. So firstly, what you're going to do is, if you want to create another folder, I'm just going to do a demo for you here. Mkdir, say another folder. This folder is not actually required, but for the demonstration purpose, I'm doing it. So mkdir, say just another folder. Let's say a folder, like just name it as demo itself, and then it's going to see, you see there is another folder named demo, and now inside demo you want to go inside demo, so you want to change your directory. So for that you use the cd command. You write cd and then the name of the folder, which is demo. In this way you go inside this demo folder, and then inside the demo folder, now you want to create a file. So you can simply create a file by writing new file over here and just write the name of the file, like file.js or file.css, whatever be the extension. You just name it, or txt, whatever be the extension. So you just write file.js. Is going to create a empty file for you, which is file.js file inside demo. Now you want to go back. These are some of the handy commands that will come very useful when you are actually working on database developments or any project. So if you want to go back to directory and not in the current directory, by the way, dot stands for current directory. You're in the current directory, but dot dot indicates that you want to move back to one step back to your previous directory. So say dot dot. Now it will take you back. Now since CD, you were actually inside the demo directory, but you wanted to move back from, you want to move out from the demo directory back to your home or to the root folder, right, to the root directory. So by doing cd dot dot, this has taken you back to your root, which is Mern. Now, what if you want to just delete, you say you want to delete this demo folder. So simply you can just click over here and you can either do this delete, or you can click the del key on your keyboard as well. So I'm just, for simplicity, I'm just yes. So yes, this has deleted the demo. Now that you have just the client and the server and you want to move to the client. So basically, let me show you an overview of what all the files I have in the client and the server. And then I'm going to also show you from scratch how to actually create your front end, which is React, and then also the backend. So in this, basically, this is it serves as a boilerplate code for you to actually understand the logic. Because even if while coding, or while I would be actually live coding, it might take a lot of time to actually install, and you might not be able to understand that time. So I already have the boilerplate code with me. I've executed it, and I'm going to show it to you as a project. So if you see this client, there is a inside clients, I have created a books app, and that is a React app which I have created, which serves as the front end. So if you see this books app, this is the name of the app I have given, the books app, because the books app is going to have all the CRUD operations in it, where you can actually add new books to it, add all the books details, basically, which consist of the description, rating, and what all. And then you can delete the book from the books app, or you can even from the collection, just to see or list the book details, you can do that and update as well. So this is the books app. Then if you want to go inside the books app, then I would just say cd, and into the, firstly I would say, see, this is already client, by the way. Okay, for this side, since we are not into the client folder, first go inside client. So cd client, this was brought me to the client folder, then cd books app. This will actually move me inside the books app. Now, what is there inside this books app? This is a React app, and if you see here, by after installing React in your system, this will all be installed by default, the node module. So for installing React, there is a command which is npx create react app, and followed by the name of the React app. Or you can also do it another way, which is npm install, which is create react app. Since you want to create React app, you have to use the you have to first install create react app, right? So the command is npm create npm create npm install, since you want to install the create react app. So it's just npm create react app. This will actually install. Since I've already installed it into my VS Code, I'm not installing it again, but this is the command. You can have a look, npm install create react app. Otherwise, another way to give a name simultaneously, because this will just install create react app. But then if you want to give a name to your create app in the one line itself, the another command and the way is npx create react app, and then your app name, which is books app. In our case is books app. So this will actually at the same time, just executing this command is going to give, you can replace books app with any name, by the way, of your choice. So this is going to create a React app for you, with all the functionalities of React, and all the React, and all the inbuilt frameworks, packages, everything installed for you. So that is done in the, as you can see, in the node modules. All the modules are going to be installed. Then you have this public folder. You have to create this public folder. This will not be installed when you create run install React. So by the way, for installing React and for Node.js, you need to just, as I told you in the theoretical video, that you have to install Node.js in your system. So you could just type Node.js on on your search engine, and you will be able to see. So let's just say that I will just the search engine, and let's just say you want to just find Node.js. So just say write Node.js install for Windows, or say node install, and it will take you to this site, which is download Node.js. Just you can go there, and over here you will find the versions. So if you are on Windows, you can get the corresponding version for Windows, for Mac OS, and Linux as well. So for this, and you can also install the official Node.js Docker image, and then from the Docker you could run this Node.js. So the most, I would recommend Node.js any version, but the most latest version is the better one. So the latest version is 18.16 version, which also includes npm 9.5.1, and npm is Node Package Manager. So after you just need that in your system, and then once you have that in your system, through the command prompt, you can actually check the version of your Node.js which you have installed. So say cmd is the command prompt, and if you want to see the version, so if I just say this is the command prompt. So now if I want to see the version of the Node.js I have installed, so just say node and then version, or node hyphen v. Node hyphen v or node hyphen version is going to give me the version of Node.js. So if you just see this bad option version, yes, it should be hyphen hyphen. So node hyphen hyphen version. This is going to give me the actual version. Now, if you see V18.16, which is the latest version, is what I have in my system. And if you want to see NPM, now I also have installed NPM in my system. So NPM hyphen 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 v or hyphen hyphen version. This is also going to give me the version. If you see here, npm hyphen hyphen v is going to give me the version of the npm. Yes, 9.6.7 is a version of the npm in my system. So that's just for your information how you find the version to check whether you have installed Node.js successfully in the system or not. Now that you've understood, about Node.js, now that you have understood also a brief about how to install reactjs into your system. Now, this public folder, inside this public folder, you will have another folder which is index.html. Index.html is basically going to contain since React is all about the UI, for displaying the developing the user interface for your web application. Over here, you can write the code for your CSS, which is, as I told you, you need CSS and JavaScript as well, even if you're working with Mern stack. So here it is index.html file. As you can see here, it's a HTML file, in fact, in the client side. Now, on the client side, you will have CSS, HTML, all these styling properties, JavaScript, everything will be in your client side, because it's everything to do with the style to appearance and all of your web page. So if you want a web application, you want your web application to be more good looking, or you want to say you want to improve the appearance of your web application and so on, then you have to do the modifications inside this index of HTML file or the CSS file as well in the source code, but inside this client folder. But in the server folder, what you have is linking with the database. So there you do have some confidential details as well, like if you have connected it to MongoDB or through any other database, right? So you have a specific password or a database password, right? Every database has a password if you have accessing it. So if you need that password, so there's such kinds of credentials. Either you can store them as environment variables in your Windows or Linux PC, or you can also directly call them. But I would not be showing you that part, because does have credentials. But I would be walking you through the code, and will be then showing you the demonstration part for you to actually get started with hands-on. But this is a boilerplate code, because this will actually give you step-by-step understanding. Now, if you see this index.html file, you will see doc type HTML. This is the format, by the way, for HTML. This is starting with doc type HTML, then HTML lang is English, so EN. This is the standard format. You can just have a look here. Head over here, then meta char set. So if you are familiar with HTML, which is hypertext markup language, already you know it's to do with the structure of the web application. So if you want to do alignment, structure, if you want to insert any links to it, or href is anchor tag, right? If you want to give hyperlinks in your web page, web application, you can actually use this code. So meta content, and also this is a content is equal to this hashtag followed by this characters is basically denoting the color code. So if you want to give some theme color to your web application, you can write this code over here. Then coming to this more important part which I was talking about, which is CSS, right? So CSS and awesome. So what I'm doing over here is I'm also incorporating or importing Bootstrap. Now, Bootstrap is for responsive web applications. So if you the Bootstrap is basically a library for making dynamic or responsive web application. Most of the web applications these days are not looking the same in phone, or their size is very incompatible with mobile phones, or even with, you see, even on the PC they differ. So it's not like you have to just make it compatible to only one kind of a browser, one kind of a system. You want it to be responsive. That is, the user can drag or do it accordingly, adjust the size accordingly, alignment accordingly of the web page in such a way. For that, you need to use Bootstrap. So I'm importing that. And for this is style sheet. This is basically inline CSS, which I was talking about. CSS in my first video. So when I talked about cascading style sheet, you have something called as the inline CSS. You also have internal CSS and external CSS. Three ways to actually incorporate CSS or implement that into your code. So this is inline CSS, where in the same line you have this attaching link red is equal to style sheet. Basically, there is style sheet, right? This indicates that I'm going to bootstrap CSS CDN, and CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. So HREF is equal to bootstrap integrity. So this is just a SHS key I'm using. This is a boilerplate code. By default, you would get it. You can also find it on the net. So if you find this code, and this is basically what, font or some sites, if you just type it on the net, you will get what CSS to use. So you can definitely, you can incorporate your own, customize it as well. But this is the style sheet. The actual, I want this font or this particular styling to be applied on my web application. That is why I am using this particular link and attaching it over here. Now, Mern A to Z. So basically, this is the title what I'm giving. You can change the title and you can give your own title, or you can also give the title as books app and so on. So if you see this, no script, and this is just a sample, by the way. So you can also, have Bootstrap JS CDN. I've also incorporated jQuery over here and Cloudflare and so on. So basically, these all are for the optimization, for adding more interactivity to your web application to make it more dynamic, because you're dealing with the client side. Now, coming to the other parts, which is manifest.js, you will see here, create React app simple. This all will be, standalone. This is just basically the color codes of the background color, theme color, start URL, and so on. That is going to be incorporated. Now that you have understood this public folder, coming to this SRC folder, which is a source folder, you will see here in the SRC folder, we have the most important file, which is app.js and components. So what is this app.js? App.js is, if you see here, you will be able to understand more when you actually delve into this server side as well. But I would like to just show you, the code part of it, demonstrate you that, so that you can actually understand why I'm using the server side, component side, and why it actually needed to link web pages. So you need to actually connect your front end to the back end. That is very important. And how do you do that? As I've told you, you need APIs, you need routing to be done, because you need to reuse some components on other parts of the system. You need, for doing that as well, for the functional components, right? In functional components in React, they can only be used and exported. They need to be exported, right? If you want to use or reuse a functional component in React, you need to actually export it. So at the end, in the functional component, you actually write the export statement, which is export default, and then the functional component app name. So that is very important to understand. So if you see this over here, I've imported create book, show book details. These all have been taken from the components folder. So inside SRC, I have the components folder. Components folder has all these, right? I have this book card, create book. These are different functionalities I was talking about, which you can do in your books app. So when you want to create a books web application, basically, you need to do the create book firstly. After create book, you can either, the user also can show book details, right? As the user can, whatever the entered details are, you can actually find the book details. Then show book list is also available. You can also add the update book info functionality, which is to edit, to perform the update operation. Now create update is done, read is done, then you need also delete operation. So delete operation is not included over here, but when I will be demonstrating you, I had kept it as a hyperlink. So if you just click on the particular hyperlink, it will actually also have the delete button. Now click on the delete button, will actually remove any book you want, book details you want. So that was about the components page. Now from the components page, since we are taking from the current directory, it's single dot here, and from the components page, we are taking in create book. We are just, importing all these from these functions from this folders and the files. Now after this, this is basically a function. Now if you know, JavaScript is all about, if you have the arrow function, you should be aware of the arrow function. So when a functional component in React.js, it is called as a functional component because it's a JavaScript function only, but it will be returning React elements. So if you see here, it has a JSX format. Basically, if I was talking about, so JSX is JavaScript XML. So basically, you can write HTML elements directly in your JavaScript code. So as you can see here, this is actually JavaScript, but I have also included div tags here for the divisions, a lot of root tags here. For that, the router class is also there. So const app, this is the basically the function is equal to. Now if you see here, if you just hover over it, you will be able to actually understand const app react JSX element. This is why I'm saying that JSX also goes hand by hand here in React.js, because it's actually allowing you to write HTML code. You can see here inside this JavaScript function. Now this is a callback function here, the arrow function, and then returning this particular piece of code. You can see I have written a root exact path. So this is very important. Now, see, if you want to link, when I was talking about linking these particular show book list, create book list, all these from to this particular page, which is app.js. You can do that by linking it through router. That is why, for especially for this router, you need to install something called as a React router DOM. Now, React works on virtual DOM. That is what I explained you right in the theoretical part of the video. So you can install that by writing npm install. Now see, whenever you want to install anything, the just simple command, remember, is npm, because npm is very important, node package manager. Npm install react hyphen router hyphen DOM. This will just, that's it. This will just install React router DOM into your environment. If you want to install another library, especially I was talking also to, to link front end and back end, you need the Axios libraries for making API calls which are asynchronous, or HTTP calls requests. So for that, you need AXIOS, which is Axios library. So npm install Axios will actually install Axios into your front end part, or wherever you want into your system. Now, when you have done all that, you need now to specify path. So this is important exact word here. So when you are specifying path, this is create book, edit book, show book. These all work fine. But here I'm using exact keyword. This is basically a property, and exact, this is a property I'm using here, because when I'm just passing in slash, or when the user just passes slash in the browser, whatever the user is entering the URL in the browser, the corresponding page will only open, isn't it? If you are entering some URL, only that corresponding web page will open. How will the class server be able to understand that what is the client actually looking for? So that is when it's going to do the mapping or the matching between the URL what the user or the client has entered and what is there in the backend. So when you do that, this is to match it exactly. So the slash is over here, especially it, see, now slash is there in create book, edit book, show book. So it might show you all these as well in order. But then if the client does not want to show book details, he does not want to go to the book details, but rather to just want to see the list of the book. Now to just do call this show book list function, you can just write to specify exact path, so that slash will indicate the home directory, or something called as a root directory. So if you just enter into your local host, or you can just type into your browser whatever, whichever portal it is running on. Say it's running on 3000, or it's running on any portal 8080 or anything, whichever portal it is running on your web application, then it will be actually taking you first to the, it will index to first the index page, right? And the index page is going to search for it. But if it does not have the index page or the root page, it's going to check if this anything matches with slash. Now there everything has a slash, so it might take you to create book, or it may not react, it might not recognize this single slash. So to actually get into the correct web page, or to allow render the correct web page to the user, to the client side, the server should be able to do that. So for that, we are specifying it here: root exact path is equal to slash element is equal to show book list. Now this all after writing this code, you come out, and as I've told you, this is a functional component. I was talking about functional and class components, if you remember, in my reactjs, the first video. So when I talked about what is class component, it was all about it was class component is basically extending from the component class, right? React component class, and you have the concept of parent class and child class there. But then over here, you do not have to extend it from the React component class. Here, you're just creating it as a function, and then JavaScript function only, and writing the JSX code here as HTML inside JavaScript, and the return over here is going to return the React element. As you see here, the return is all this, which is nothing but React elements. That's why you're exporting, because you want to now use this particular functional component in other pages or in other areas of your web application. So that is why you have to export functional components. So export default app. This will do the work for you. Now that you've understood app.js, the next file is app.css. App.css for the styling. This is again CSS. So you can just have a look over here. I would not be delving into the CSS much. So you can just have a look here. This is .app logo. You can basically for the styling, you can give any color, any color code is over here. This can again be changed. So basically for CSS, this is external CSS, by the way. You can link this sheet and give this link as a href to the web page or anywhere inside the component, so that the CSS gets applied there. But if you see here, .app text align center, you can change the alignment over here, logo, header, and so on. So if I'm just skimming through this app link, you also have something called as a transform, create book, and for each, now if you observe carefully, we have create book, show book details. All these are the different modules of our web application. Now for these different modules, or say the different the main different parts or components of our web application, all these properties are going to apply to this particular component. So if you see dot create book, for create book web page, you will have this particular properties. You see the background color is this particular color. This is somewhat light blue color, which you will be able to see. Then for show book details, you will have the background color as yellow. Min height will be this much. Color will be this. Update book web page will have this much. So for each web page, this is what is going to be applied. Card container descending hedge. Now if you have the concept of header tags also over here, right? In HTML you have different headings. So headings can be of different size, h1 to h6, and h1 is the highest, followed by h6 is the lowest. So and have different headings over here as well. Now, coming to the next part, which is components, I did not, went deep into that. So let me just show you one of them, because other ones are just going to show you. This is all the different functionalities. So this might take a little bit of time for you to get proper understanding on that. But I would say that in everything you have to use the functional component. I've created a functional React component, but for I've also used the concept of hooks over here. Now, if you see here, use state, use effect, these are hooks. Now, what are React hooks? When I was talking about functional components, class in contrast to class components do not have the they do not need, in fact, state management property, because they already have their own default state management and lifecycle methods. But on the other hand, functional components do not have that. So you need to have some proper mechanism through which a state management in React components can be done, so that all the React features can be used. For that, you have to you need to have some mechanism, and for that it was introduced, which is React hooks. The property which was introduced was React hooks. So the React hooks are a very important concept in React. So you need to understand. I have used use state, use effect hook here. You can have, there are other examples of React hooks as well. You can explore, which is use state, use effect, use context, and so on. Now I'm importing React first. So for see, whenever you want to use React into your web page or your .js file, you need to import it first. So you're import React, then the hooks here from the React library you have installed. Then you can also import these params, link, navigate from React router DOM. I have also told you what is the command for installing React router DOM. Now also Axios. Axios is for making asynchronous HTTP requests, right? I've also told you that for making API calls, basically you need to install that. That you're going to install in the front end itself. So that's why I'm going to first show you the front end. And then this particular video is going to talk to you about I'm just going to go through all the codes and take you through the front end. And in the upcoming video, I'm going to show you the application, the demo of the application basically. Or basically, if you want to actually see the application's features actually working live, I'm going to show you that in the next video. In this particular video, I'm going to show you specifically the front end. Now, if you see this is how I have installed. Then function show book details props. Now props are functional arguments, so these are passed as arguments to this React function. Then you have const. This is called as destructuring array. Now what is this destructuring? This is the concept again. So that's why I was I wanted to show you each and every code line, so that these concepts actually come in. When you have a clear understanding of these concepts, it becomes very easy. So this is called as array destructuring. The first value will be the element you want to actually change, and the second parameter passed to this array destructure will be the set. Will be something like set value, set book. Now you want to change the book, right? When you want to show book details, you want to actually set the value to a book, to a new thing. So this is something you want to actually change. So the new value basically that variable is going to be indicative, and that name is given here. That is passed as second parameter. Now is equal to use state. Now I'm initializing it basically to an empty braces, right? Empty curly brackets. Const id is equal to use params, navigate is equal. This is how I'm instantiating the different objects. Now use effect. This is a particular React hook. You can have a look here how React hooks are actually used in our environment. Now, if you see here, I'm also passing an Axios here for use effect is a React hook, and then this is a function. This is a callback function because it's going to now return, right? It's this is the arrow function basically, and I'm also passing in Axios get and then basically work as promise functions. So basically, it's going to go to this particular link and API books and then it's going to then is basically for sending a response. So you have to understand something called as a request response over here, where after Axios is going to basically Axios works for HTTP request, right? It's going to make some request. If you see here, there is a get request. Similarly, for this on delete code, on delete click, for a function component, you have something called as a delete. So these are the different HTTP requests. So for making HTTP requests, API calls, you're using Axios. Then you're also passing it dot then. Dot then is basically for writing the code, what will happen if this particular API is passed in, or this HTTP request is raised. So after that, some response has to be given, right? Now for doing that, you need to write dot then response. So once this particular get request is sent, then a response which is set book will happen. And there is also a catch statement here. This is basically error handling, which I was talking about. Error handling is very important because similar to the try catch statements, over here you have the get then, or the request which is delete dot then, that then acts as a promise function. Then dot then console.log is in JavaScript for especially for printing anything. So we want to display or print this error from show book list. You're just writing console.log. Catch will have this particular parameter which is error, ERR. And then similarly for on delete click, you have this. So this is for the book item. I'm writing, embedding the HTML format here. So this is basically a table format. If you're aware of how to create tables in HTML, this should not take you much time to understand. So I'm skimming the code over here. I feel that this particular, I should only go with front end for this particular video, because if each and every concept I can explain you in detail. Upcoming video, I'll go with the back end, and then finally the demo practically. So if you see this code, this is a tabular format and how to create tables in HTML. So you see here table tag, the TR, the TD. So TR is for column, right? You want to create a new column, then or a field, and TH is for basically the heading. If you want to give a suitable heading to the first column, to the row, you can give this heading TH. Then TH is table head, right? Table heading. Then TD stands for table data. TR is table row. So basically, TD is for table data when you want to insert new rows into your table. Now you want to insert new rows like book table, author, rating. This is just structure. So you see how we are actually so simply embedding HTML into our reactjs, right? We're embedding that, and some that is enabled through JSX form, which is JavaScript XML. Now after doing this, coming out, we are, this is the code basically for now after this functional component has been created, right? You are actually defined all these functions, JavaScript functions as functional components. You have to export. Don't forget to write this statement, because this only allows reusability of functional components in other areas of your web application. So you're going to, since the name of your this particular JavaScript or JS, this particular file, if you see here, function is show book details, and this passed as props, right? The props is the parameter passed to this function. So this function name should be exported at the end. So export default, this is standard, you have to use this export default, and then show book details. Once you have done this, this is for the show book details. This is for the functionality corresponding, respective functionalities corresponding to the create book. Similarly over here also I have used the same Axios over here, functional components having Axios, and then I've also demonstrated hooks to you, how hooks are passed. Here also I'm using use state hook, right? Over there I use effect hook as well. So remember, it's depending on your preference which hook you want to use. You can also use context hook and so on. So they basically make it very easier for us to use and apply different functionalities. So this is for the book card. This is how we're passing in props over here. Const book is equal to props dot book, and then return. Now this is also returning React elements, so that is a functional component. Then similarly export default book cards, and that is the same for update, show book, the corresponding functionalities. That was all about how you're doing it in components, right? Coming after components, there is something called as app test.js. I'm just going through each and every file and then making you understand the concepts which might be missed in my theoretical explanation, or you might be, you might should know these concepts as well in order to build a web application. Once you actually understand, get a thorough understanding of all these minute details in each line of code, it will become very important for you to try on your own by practicing different projects. So then you have a look here, app test.js. You're importing render screen from this particular testing library in React. Then import app from app, because there is an app folder we have just created, which is app.js. So you are importing the functional component. Now remember, this app is the functional component. So we are able to do that because we have imported, we have done there is a particular command or a particular line I wrote in the app.js, which is export default, right? Export default app. So that is why you are able to import it in here. Import app, then test, renders, learn, react, and then this arrow function. And finally, what will happen, when this particular function triggers or this event happens. Once this is done, you come to the index.css, which is thus, the for the index page of the indexing file, this is the default, which is the css applied, basically the styling, the body styling and the code styling. Then there is this index.js file over here, which for this also you have to import react dom app, whatever you have imported already in the other pages. Then create root is equal to react dom. Now this is important, react dom, because React uses a virtual dom and you only want to update the necessary parts of the code and not the entire page to improve speed, right? That is the sole purpose of virtual dom. So for that, you have to first write react dom. Since you have imported React already, react dom will also be when you install React, right? So in the node modules also, you will see that react dom being installed. React dom create root. You have to create the root first, a root page or root directory type, and then document get element by ID root. This is important because you want this particular root element. So you want to get the element by root ID. Then root dot render. What it has to be rendered in the web page when user clicks on that link is this particular site app, and then report web vitals. Then finally, this is what you are done in the index.js setup. Test, these are by default. This you don't have to create it. This will already be taken care of and will be imported when you install React in your system. So half of the work, when you install React itself will be done. You just have to add new boilerplate code. You need to add your functional components, but the simple React app will be created for you when you install React and you write npm start. Npm start will actually start the React app for you. Now, once this is done, there's another important file which is package.json. There is another file, package.json, package.json. Package.json is having all the dependencies basically. When you install React on your system, all the libraries which have been installed, followed by their versions and their dependencies, will be clearly shown over here to you. You can have a look to understand, and you can also, you're free to also edit or modify accordingly. If you want to change the version, you want to add new dependencies, you are able to do that into the package.json. Basically, it has all the packages installed in the React. When you install React, it has all the packages which have been installed. That was all about the front end part of it. Now, if you want to just want me to, do a small demo of how to create a React application. Since I've explained you more about the front end, you should be able to understand why we are using this different application components and of React and so on. But now comes the time for you to actually test and understand how to create a React front end application, and then later you can also create and customize your own style. Because the reason I'm not just doing styling and everything here, because it's all you can use this particular styling or you can also change the styling. It totally depends on you or your preference, how you want the web page to actually look like. Now when you go to this particular yes, I trust the authors. Now see, we don't have any command prompt here, so I'm just opening my command prompt here. You have just a demo folder which I have. Now inside the demo folder, you need to first you need to create. Right now, how do you do that? You can just simply write npx create react app, npx create react app hyphen, there is a hyphen between create react and app, and you give the name. Now let's give a name like let's say demo app. Since the folder is demo, I would like to just give it as demo app instead of books app. Now let's say demo app, it will create the demo app for you. The reactjs, it will take time because it has to install lots and lots of node modules, as we have seen. But once that is done, then you just write npm start and you will see your React web page automatically running. So this will take quite a time. Now see, it says you're creating a new React app in demo app. So yes, now see, it is all automatically is installing React DOM, and React scripts and CRA template. These all will be installed for you. Once that is done, npm start, and then that's it. You will be able to do it. Now it might take some amount of time to install. Also, there's another package called Babel. I just saw this word Babel over here. So I forgot to tell you, Babel is another package, especially for compiling your JavaScript code. And then you have Webpack as well to bundle all your JavaScript code. right? So you Babel, and also there is a package which is a Webpack. These all you don't have to manually install, because while you're installing React itself, these all packages will be included in the node modules section, as we have seen. Let me just open the this might take a little bit of time for installation, because all the node modules of React have to be installed. Let me just open the local host 3000 till then, so that once it finishes, we can go back. I can just directly go to that page. Um, okay, this might take a bit of time. Okay, anyways, I hope I have made it very clear for you how to, install your React dependencies. Once just this particular line, npx create React app demo app, this will just do the work for you, and just write npm start. On doing npm start, you will see your React web page, or the React, the website actually running properly on your system. So it will take a couple of times. So I would like to end it, and that was all about it for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed my video, and do subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for more upcoming videos on varied topics of computer science engineering. Do share your feedback and share my channel with all your friends to spread the knowledge. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.